I've been thinking lately about how I want to change up my content and the time that I put into all of that content, and I think I'm going to be doing more live streaming moving forward. It's a great way to connect with the audience and to have a conversation with people in the chats, and because it's more raw and off the cuff, technically it's easier than doing a full produced video. The thing is, when it comes to platforms like Instagram, you're usually relying on a phone that doesn't have the same quality that I'm used to for delivering the rest of my content. So when I saw this device announced by YoloLiv, I had to jump right on it. This right here is the way to step up vertical video and that live streaming game. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? This right here is the YoloLiv Instream. Before we actually take a look at this device, let me give you some quick gratitude and a bit of a disclaimer. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today, and you can probably come hang out with me more often on Instagram, which is where I'm going to do more live streaming moving forward. Across all social media networks, even YouTube right here, my handle is the same, at JVTechT, so make sure you follow me everywhere. And as for the Instream, which we're talking about today, YoloLiv did send this to me, but this video is not otherwise sponsored, no money has changed hands, and all of the thoughts on this device in this video are my own. But what I will promote is YoloLiv's Black Friday sale, which is happening right now and through this week. I have a link in the description and in the pinned comment below, so if you're on Instagram or TikTok and you're live streaming and you really want to step up your game, you can go check this out for yourself. So what I'm going to do here is give you a bit of an overview of what the Instream brings to the vertical video table. After that, I think I'll actually do a live stream on Instagram, and I'll have some tea with the chat so you can see what it is actually like in action. Quite simply put, the Instream is an Android tablet, but it has a special software layer that connects all of the extra hardware bits into the camera interfaces for apps like Instagram and TikTok. It is a rather large device, both in height and thickness. This is an 8-inch touchscreen display, and this whole thing weighs around 600 grams. It is running a stripped down version of Android that only has access to particular apps, but powering all of that is the Snapdragon 845, which is more than enough for accessing these specific social media platforms. As you can see, the Android layer is up here in the corner, and once you're in an application, you can actually make it full screen, which would make it a lot easier for you to look at the chat when you're live streaming and all of that. The thing is, it does take away all of the control that you may otherwise want at the ready while you are live streaming. And all of that control is via these various menus over here and the switcher, which is here on the bottom left corner. All the control is based on the various inputs that the YoloLiv Instream is capable of using. You can see here that there are two HDMI inputs, which means that multiple cameras can be plugged into the Instream at once. Then there's a USB port here for webcam, so you can triple up on your cameras if you get a little bit savvy. There is one final HDMI port here for output in case you want to monitor what your show actually looks like while you're streaming. And after that, there are multiple audio jacks, one for monitoring, one for a mic in, and one for a line in. You might want to mount this like a monitor to whatever camera you are using for your live stream, so there is a 1/4-20 thread on both sides of the Instream. But over here you have an Ethernet port for wired internet connections, but you can always use Wi-Fi or just do what I did recently and use a SIM card for live streaming literally on the go. That's right, you can get a full professional level live streaming setup done all on mobile connectivity if you want. Next, there is an SD card slot here that allows for external media to be put into your live streaming content. It's over here in an area called overlays, and you are able to put in things like graphics and whatnot. That way you can add even more to your live streams. Or you can use the SD card for 1080p recordings of your inputs and control, making it easy to save your live streams to either be cut up later for more pieces of content or to just be fully reposted after the fact. One last thing here is a USB-C charging port up here to top up what is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery built in, which does last for a good while. I personally have not drained the battery down during any one recording or streaming session, and honestly, it's easy enough to just use a power bank anyway if I do get a little bit low on battery. So obviously what you're going to be doing here is plugging in all of the cameras and audio that you would want to use for your live streams or for vertical video content. So as you connect cameras to the Instream, you're going to see those inputs actually appear here on the bottom left, and they all become switchable inputs. You'll be able to pop in and out of them using the touchscreen by just tapping the various ones so you can change what is actually being outputted to the various applications. As you can see, this is all about the vertical orientation. So yes, this is a vertical video platform. YoloLiv do make plenty of other products for widescreen streaming and content creation, but this is the first and so far only device that they or anyone has made that is specifically for that vertical life. So yes, you'll be mounting your cameras vertically and using the input controls here to sort of change everything up as needed so that you can get it ready for your actual productions. It does take a little bit of setup if your rigs are more for conventional recording, but my desk setup makes it so that I can just rotate the cameras exactly where they are. Once you're set up, the camera inputs are then put into the camera feeds for the various applications that you're using. You just have to mess with the rotations a little bit to make sure that it looks perfect inside of the actual application. So as you can see here, I'm going to expand Instagram, and that is what the feed is going to look like as I go live on Instagram, or even record a story straight through the application, but using my cameras connected to the Instream. I'm going to get more into my setup in the actual live stream example I'm going to do a little bit later, but for now, let's continue talking about some of the software features that are included in here. As you can see, you have full control over the video feeds and any of the audio that might be plugged in. The audio mixer is right over here, and you can see that you have the various inputs: line in, mic in, even USB, and of course the audio coming from the connected cameras. If you want to use external media like graphics or lower thirds to be part of the video, that's over here, and it all comes through the SD card. But admittedly, I haven't gotten into this very much at all. I'm not a huge graphics guy. I just prefer to hit record or to hit live and just hang out. Now, the Instream does allow you to have multiple cameras, and that's really awesome, but I don't think it's necessarily required. At its basic level, I think for most people who just want to increase the quality of their live streams, the ability to use even just one full camera instead of relying on the front-facing cameras of literally any smartphone can be a game changer. Even just a Sony ZV-E10 and a nice lens dramatically increases the quality of live streams and pairs really well with the Instream, which itself is pretty travel-friendly. I could see this being a great tool for content creators who are about that higher production value or are doing live streams for clients during like events and whatnot. And while vertical will always be the Instream's focus, YoloLiv have been updating it constantly with additions like Facebook Live and even Zoom. YoloLiv's commitment to improving their products is well known, and the Instream is no exception. And actually, one of these updates made the Instream work with a setup that I'm personally really looking forward to using for live streams moving forward. You see, here at my work desk, I do quite literally everything. You see me in these videos on YouTube, but I have done live streaming from here, and the general setup for both scenarios has been the same. I have 3 cameras. I'm using 2 of them right now. I have 3 cameras all plugged into a switcher, the A10 Mini by Blackmagic Design, and then that outputs to a multi-input monitor so that I can see all of my cameras at a glance. This is home for me, and it's basically where I can get anything done. I then plug the A10 Mini into a computer for live streaming, as everything is already good to go, and I can just hit live on whatever streaming platform I want. But now I have the Instream for the same scenario, but this time for Instagram. Instead of plugging the A10 Mini into my laptop, I use the HDMI out from the A10 Mini and put it into the Instream, which then allows me to use the A10 Mini switcher as the input into Instagram, TikTok, Zoom, or Facebook. In this case, you can see that it all came up right here, and if I come over to my A10 Mini, I can switch between them really easily and not even have to worry about using this whole area a whole lot. So essentially nothing changes. I retain the same switching ability from my original setup with the A10 Mini, but now the cameras are going to be mounted vertically and the output ultimately is going to go to IG Live. And actually this whole setup can make it easier for me to make shorts and reels. I can start recording a 1080p video of the vertical inputs right here, and I can just switch among the various inputs on the A10 Mini and just do the cuts from that one feed rather than 3 different video files from 3 different cameras. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and use this setup and I'm going to go and hit live. I'm going to make some tea on stream and then I'll talk to the chat for a little while, and that way you'll be able to see a little bit of what it is like with my particular setup. The camera you're looking at right here, it is literally vertical. I have a plate on the side and I have it like mounted on its side. And I have the other 3 cameras. So here is the top cam that is also mounted vertically. And here is the corner cam also mounted vertically. And yeah, so it's the same exact setup that you would see me use on YouTube and all of my main content videos and whatnot. It's just all here, just mounted 90 degrees to the side and put into the A10 Mini. In my case, it's the switcher that I'm using over here. I don't know if you would be able to see it. It's right over here in the corner. I use the A10 Mini as a switcher because I've just had it for a couple of years now. It was like one of my first quarantine purchases. And I put all of the cameras into the A10 Mini, and then that just consolidates everything, and then I move that output to the YoloLiv Instream right here. That's why there's only one input right here, even though we have 3 different inputs on the side. I'm only using one because I'm just putting a middleman in here. The middleman being the A10 Mini, that is the switcher. I just like it a little bit better because I'm just used to using this switcher for everything. So you can see I'm kind of going through all of them right now. But yeah, I want to get my chops in on IG Live and just start to hang out here more often. If vertical video is going to be the future of all of our platforms, shorts and reels and whatnot, they are a thing. But yeah, live is yet another way to be able to do that. So I think that'd be really great. And so, there you have it. Finally, a tool that can make live streaming on Instagram and TikTok way higher in quality, and in some ways actually way easier if you already have the setup that is made for it. There are plenty of other features and nuances like the overlays and whatnot that you can dive into, but on the Instream I prefer to still keep things pretty simple. My favorite part about this is that it can literally plug and play in the setup I have already worked very hard to build out. So because of the Instream, you can expect to see me on live streams more often, so make sure you follow me on social media to hang out with me whenever I do. And finally, a reminder that the YoloLiv Instream is available for sale on Black Friday over at their website right now, to which I have a link available in the description and in a pinned comment below. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for hanging out again with me today. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea and your live streaming, everybody.